Viewers, persistent journalism can bring change. From assaulting people for not speaking Marathi to silencing themselves now. It has been the relentless effort of NDTV and our campaign that has led to this massive impact. MNS Chief Raj Thackeray, right here on your screens. Now he has issued a gag order for its MNS workers. In this latest Diktat, Mr. Raj Thackeray has asked his workers to not engage with media. Yes, total silence after the goons went on a rampage in Maharashtra on Mumbai streets. With that, we also demand answers from Mr. Thackeray. Why no word on condemning the behavior of MNS workers when they chased and assaulted an innocent shopkeeper for not speaking Marathi? Then, the next day, when the MNS workers trashed the office of an investor in Mumbai. No silence, no condemnation, just a diktat and a gag order. Take a look at why I say so.
Brazen MNS on Mumbai street, claiming to be protesting to uphold the Marathi pride. Days after its workers have been caught beating and abusing people, the self-claimed protectors of Marathi hits the street. Thousands gathered in Mira Bhayandar for a rally organized by the Marathi Ekikaran Samiti in collaboration with the Maharashtra Navnirman Sena. The event was positioned as a counter-protest to a traders' rally held earlier against the MNS. Despite the massive turnout, the administration denied MNS the permission for the rally, citing logistical concerns. Notices were issued to organizers and participants, and multiple preventive detentions were also carried out.
मैंने जब पुलिस कमिश्नर से पूछा तो पुलिस कमिश्नर ने मुझे कहा कि हमने उनको रूट चेंज करने के लिए कहा था, लेकिन वो एडमंट थे कि हमको यही रूट लेना है, इसलिए पुलिस ने उसको नकारा है। छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज की, छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज की, छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज की।
ते आजचा आमचा मराठी भाषेची आग्रही मागणी आहे, मराठी भाषेचा मोर्चा आहे। आम्हाला
काय मांग काय तुमची मांग काय?
आम्हाला आमच्या राज्यामध्ये मराठीचा आदर झाला पाहिजे, मराठी बोलता आलं पाहिजे।
The police crackdown sparked strong reactions.
महाराष्ट्राचे मुख्यमंत्री, महाराष्ट्राचे गृहराज्यमंत्री यांनी असं सांगितलं की आम्ही मोर्चाला परवानगी देत होतो, फक्त रूट बदलायला सांगत होतो. मला स्पष्टपणे सांगायचं आहे की मोर्चाची परवानगी पोलीस द्यायला तयार नव्हते आणि जो रूट बदलण्याचा विषय आहे तो ते आम्हाला सांगत होते. घटना घडली मीरा रोडमध्ये, व्यापाऱ्यांनी मोर्चा काढला मीरा रोडमध्ये आणि आम्हाला सांगत होते मोर्चा काढा घोडबंदर रोडला. मला सांगा, मीरा रोड मधल्या घटनेचा घोडबंदरला कोणी मोर्चा काढता का?
Some days back they had given permission to non-Marathis to do a andolan. Now when Marathi people or Manse people are thinking to do a andolan or a demonstration, then this government denied permission to them. But BJP is purposely making a war between Marathi and non-Marathi, looking at Mumbai election and Bihar election.
Shortly after Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis explained the police action, his own alliance colleague, Thane MLA and Transport Minister broke ranks, rushed out of the assembly and joined the protest. However, he was later heckled by the crowd.
नहीं जा रहा हूँ मीरा भाईंदर में, अगर पुलिस की हिम्मत रहेगी तो पुलिस प्रताप सरनाई को गिरफ्तार करके दिखाए।
सर, पर चीफ मिनिस्टर ने कहा है कि रूट ठीक से सिलेक्ट नहीं किया गया था।
जो कुछ भी रहने दो, सभी मराठी भाषिकों को उठा के उन्होंने जेल में डाला है, वो सभी मराठी भाषिकों को छुड़ाने के लिए।
Later, representatives of the other two Senas of Shinde and UBT camps were also seen at the protest site, trying to seem standing with the Marathi cause. While netas have their political compulsions, over the last few days, NDTV has been running a persistent campaign against MNS hooliganism and violence. They have shown their crass actions, whether it was beating of a shopkeeper or when MNS Neta's brat son was seen abusing a woman in drunken and half-naked state.
बिल्कुल लोगों को मराठी सीखनी चाहिए, पर किसी को मार के मराठी कोई नहीं सीख पाएगा। मार के हम कभी कोई काम नहीं कर सकते हैं, बट हाँ, हम प्यार से जो चीज़ करवा सकते हैं, कभी गुंडागर्दी से नहीं करवा सकते।
We have been putting all the tough questions to the authorities and demanding action against shameful conduct of Raj Thackeray's party. The language row has intensified here in the state of Maharashtra, especially after the involvement of political parties and civic societies. At the same time, statement by Bharatiya Janata Party Member of Parliament Nishikant Dubey, which is extremely controversial, has also shed light on whether this is just an attempt to create political fodder by the ruling dispensation. With camera person Mahesh Halwai, this is Anuj Rai reporting for NDTV from Mumbai.
It's a news break that comes 1 week after NDTV began its coverage of the MNS Gundaraj in Maharashtra. And I'm not aware of a single instance in history of the Maharashtra Navnirman Sena where Raj Thackeray has issued a gag order on a party, the party membership, the party cadres, spokespersons in a party that has always been very confrontational, very vocal, very aggressive, very hostile, frequently manifests its opinion with either vandalism or violence, and certainly with harsh words. To be issued a gag order shows that Raj Thackeray and the MNS are certainly feeling the heat and maybe thinking twice about the manner in which citizens are actually seeing them. Now, it's one thing to actually gag spokespersons to talk about what they put out on social media, including the designated and gazetted spokespersons of the Maharashtra Navnirman Sena. But it's quite another thing to issue a blanket gag order to all members of the party from speaking to newspapers, the press, expressing themselves on social media, coming on TV channels like they have been on NDTV as well, because it basically means that it looks like the MNS has realized they are losing the narrative. So far, they've been thinking that this traction that they are getting, is ingratiating them and making them look really good like heroes in the eyes of the people of Mumbai and the Marathi community in general. But exactly the opposite has clearly been happening, and that's what we've been highlighting here on NDTV, that the Marathi people have gone a big distance away from the kind of vandalism and violence represented by the MNS, and that is perhaps why realization may have dawned. There are political compulsions as well. Action to be taken by the government has been promised. There are allies and friends of the MNS that have been forced and embarrassed enough to come out and actually point at the MNS and say we condemn their behavior. The VIP brat who continues to be on the loose has witheringly embarrassed Raj Thackeray and his party because it has exposed them to be standing for the very sorts of things that they try and attack and stand for the common people when they've only proven to be the same kind of VIP thugs that every other party perhaps has represented. And I think all of this has come down like a ton of bricks on Raj Thackeray and forced him to issue this blanket gag order before they can kind of regroup and figure out what their next step really needs to be.
Now, tracking the updates coming in from the national capital, the Commission for Air Quality Management in NCR and Delhi and adjoining areas has amended its order to deny fuel to end-of-life vehicles in Delhi at fueling stations, stating that restrictions will now come into force in Delhi and 5 other high vehicle density districts in the national capital region from November 1. However, this sparked massive outrage from the Delhi Taxi Association, which has shot a letter to Delhi Environment Minister Manjinder Singh Sirsa. Take a look at the reactions coming in.
एक तकलीफ थी जनता की जो पिछली सरकारों ने कभी समझी नहीं थी, लगातार उसको इग्नोर करते हुए ना तो उन्होंने कभी पॉल्यूशन पे काम किया और ना ही पॉलिसी पे काम किया। जब ये विषय CAQM ने तय किया और जिसमें माननीय न्यायालय का भी आदेश इसमें शामिल था, तो हमने दिल्ली की जनता का तकलीफ उनके सामने रखी थी कि इस तरीके से दिल्ली की जनता के साथ अन्याय नहीं होना चाहिए। और हमारी बात को संज्ञान लेते हुए उन्होंने जिस प्रकार से 1 नवंबर 2025 तक इस पूरे आदेश को टाला है, मैं समझती हूँ कि ये अच्छा कदम है।
CAQM से एक बड़ी राहत मिली है 1 नवंबर 2025 तक। इस दौरान जैसे कि माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी ने पहले भी कहा था, हम बाकी भी काम करेंगे। हम माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट तक भी और NGT तक भी अप्रोच करेंगे। 80,000 गाड़ियां दिल्ली के अंदर तोड़ दी गई, उनको एंड ऑफ लाइफ करके ख़त्म कर दिया गया, लेकिन किसी को नहीं पता कि वो कहाँ गई, क्योंकि दिल्ली के अंदर कोई भी रजिस्टर्ड स्क्रैप को तोड़ने के लिए कोई अभी तक सेंटर नहीं सेटअप हुआ। आम आदमी पार्टी ने लोगों की लाखों रुपए कीमत की गाड़ियों को हजारों रुपए में कबाड़ियों के हाथ में थमा दिया।
And for more, my colleague Shreya Ghosh is also joining me on the broadcast. Shreya, first they said there is a technical glitch. They can't roll out the end-of-life vehicle ban. But now the CAQM has said that from November 1, the old vehicles will stop getting fuel. Tell us more about it.
That's right. From November 1st, Delhi, Gurugram, Faridabad, Ghaziabad, Noida and Sonipat, in all these areas, all overage vehicles will be banned. 15 years old petrol vehicles, 10 years old diesel vehicles. This was implemented on July 1st earlier, but within 3 days it got halted because of the Delhi government's opposition. Delhi government did argue a very important thing, that defining end-of-life vehicles by age alone is unfair, especially for middle-class owners. And they suggested that vehicle fitness and emissions should be considered. Now, will this be considered? That is something that needs to be seen, because so far we know that overage vehicles will be banned. But should the ban be based on vehicle age or pollution fitness? Do we have technology to actually assess pollution fitness of vehicles? Is an age-based vehicle, ban fair, or should emissions and maintenance records play a bigger role? This is something that needs to be seen. Chief Minister Rekha Gupta has also welcomed today's Commission for Equality Management's decision to postpone the move. Said that it's important to protect the environment, but at the end, but also ensure that the livelihoods of the people don't get disrupted. But of course, the Delhi Taxi and Tourist Transporters Association, they said that the Commission's move is dictatorial. They criticized it and said that it would end up benefiting vehicle manufacturers by forcing replacements of functional vehicles. But we know that the Commission has in fact directed and promised that these ANPR systems, at this point we have been reporting on ground that
Absolutely,
there were ground
Shreya.
level challenges.
Thank you so much, Shreya, for giving us those details from November 1, big order coming in soon. Shifting our focus to Andhra Pradesh, where YSRCP MLA Prasanna Kumar Reddy's derogatory remarks on TDP's woman MLA Prashanti Reddy has attracted strong reaction from the State Women Commission and State's IT Minister Nara Lokesh. While the YSRCP MLA alleges and cries foul, the TDP has demanded immediate arrest and has filed FIR against Prasanna Reddy for his misogynist remark. Take a look at the reactions coming in.
YSRCP leader who made very derogatory and obscene comments against her, and she has said it's not just about insult and also defamation and sexual kind of comments being passed against her, which can be counted as sexual harassment, but also she says his actions are amounting to causing a breach of public peace as well as outraging the modesty of a woman. And she has said that it's not just this leader but the YSRCP that has been systematically targeting women and insulting them in the public domain. This was after Nalapreddy Prasanna Reddy, who has been a 6-time MLA. He had in fact made very crude insinuations about the marriage of the Kovur MLA to her husband Nellore MP, and said that it is under blackmail and threat that he had married the MLA, and he also suggested that the life of the Nellore MP is under threat because of his wife. All these have sparked a huge outrage in Andhra Pradesh, where not just ministers, Nara Lokesh, Home Minister or the Agriculture Minister and others have reacted very sharply, saying that this is disgraceful, humiliating and insulting to women, and saying that the YSRCP is encouraging this kind of a culture. On Monday night, after the YSRCP leader had made these comments in the afternoon, his own home in Nellore town was ransacked by unidentified miscreants, and the YSRCP is alleging that it is a hand of the TDP and that they will not shy away from retaliatory attacks. The Prasanna Kumar himself, Prasanna Reddy, has said that he is not retracting his statements, nor is he going to apologize for them. But yes, tensions now at a new high in Andhra Pradesh on a day when Jagan Mohan Reddy is in fact going to be visiting Chittoor to go to the market yard where mango farmers have been reporting distress, and there are restrictions that have been put on the number of people who can receive him at the helipad as well as in the market who can accompany him, and this is likely to lead to more tensions on the ground.
Right after this break, we'll tell you what's the Prime Minister's schedule after the Brazil visit and what's happening in Brazil. Don't go anywhere, keep watching NDTV. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Brazilian President hold delegation-level talks in Brasilia. Warm ceremonial welcome for the Prime Minister was given as he became the first Indian Prime Minister in 57 years to visit Brazil on a state visit. India and Brazil exchanged MOUs in the presence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Brazilian President. The Brazilian President also conferred Brazil's highest civilian honor, the Grand Cola of the National Order of the Southern Cross, on PM Narendra Modi. This is the 26th international honor bestowed upon PM Modi by a foreign government since he assumed office in May 2014. Now, the MEA has also reacted after the bilateral talks. He had said, and I quote, PM Narendra Modi met with President Lula da Silva, Brazil, at the Alvorada Palace in Brazil. PM thanked, and both leaders held extensive discussions on various topics including trade, investment, defense and security, health and pharmaceuticals, space, renewable energy, food and energy security, infrastructure development, digital public infrastructure, culture and people-to-people ties, and explored avenues for collaboration in the new areas of critical minerals, new and emerging technologies, and supercomputers, digital collaboration and mobility. They set a bilateral trade target of $20 billion over the next 5 years. They also exchanged views on regional and global issues of mutual interest.
आज राष्ट्रपति जी द्वारा मुझे ब्राजील के सर्वोच्च राष्ट्रीय सम्मान से विभूषित किया जाना मेरे लिए ही नहीं बल्कि 140 करोड़ भारतवासियों के लिए भी अत्यंत गर्व और भावुकता का पल है। मेरे मित्र राष्ट्रपति लूला भारत और ब्राजील स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप के चीफ आर्किटेक्ट हैं। हमने आने वाले 5 वर्षों में द्विपक्षीय व्यापार को $20 बिलियन तक ले जाने का लक्ष्य निर्धारित किया है।
And joining me on the broadcast, Uri Fancelli, International Relations Analyst from Brazil. Thank you so much for speaking to NDTV. Let me begin by asking you, what is the significance of the visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Brazil?
The visit celebrates 80 years of diplomatic relations between Brazil and India, but it goes far beyond symbolism. It's part of a broader effort to strengthen ties between Latin America and Asia at a time when geopolitical tensions, ongoing wars and a growing US pressure are reshaping the global landscape. A range of bilateral deals are on the table, including agreements in security, renewable energy, agriculture and technology. Trade between the two countries are booming. It hit $12 billion last year and it's already up to 24% in 2025. India is now Brazil's 10th largest trading partner and 6th biggest source of imports. But I think what really matters here is the symbolism of this visit happening during the BRICS summit. Because if there's one thing that Brazil and India have in common, it's the effort to push back against the anti-Western, anti-democratic tone that China and Russia have brought to the group. So when the two countries show unity like this, they're also sending a message. They can work with everyone and keep things pragmatic.
Rightly said so. You know, the US president has said that there will be an additional 10% tariffs for BRICS nation. Will Brazil and India unite over this?
He shows us a few things. First, about Donald Trump himself. He just can't help but make everything about him. His ego is so big that the statement only came at the end of the summit, just to make sure he stays in the spotlight. Second, despite his threats, there hasn't been any concrete action. So in a way, it's Trump showing that he doesn't like being on the receiving end of the agenda. He likes to set the agenda. Now, both Brazil and India need to be very cautious in how they will respond. India was hit with a 26% tariff back in April and Brazil with 10%. So yes, this has economic consequences, but they weren't hit as hard as countries like China, Vietnam or Laos. If Brazil and India choose to respond, they will have to strike the right balance.
Right, Mr. Fancelli, when Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Brazil, he has echoed the sentiments that the world also feels it. The anti-terrorism message after what happened in Pahalgam, we saw it, and the world has seen how Pakistan and its proxies continue to bleed India. How does Brazil come out in support of India's message against terrorism?
Brazil has made a point of standing with India in the fight against terrorism, and that became especially clear during the BRICS summit. The joint declaration strongly condemned recent attacks like the one in Pahalgam, calling terrorism criminal and unjustifiable, echoing India's message word for word. But beyond words, there's action. Brazil and India are preparing to sign a bilateral agreement on counter-terrorism cooperation and the protection of sensitive defense data. In a moment where many countries remain vague or neutral, Brazil is signaling that it's ready to be a serious and responsible partner to India on global security.
And now the Indian government has denied issuing any fresh orders on July 3rd to block accounts of any global news agency, including Reuters. This comes after Elon Musk's microblogging site has claimed that the government of India asked to block 2,355 accounts in India, including international news outlets such as Reuters on July 3rd. But the Indian government has said that no such demand was put forth by the Indian government, and when the Indian government found it, it asked for X to unblock it. Take a look at our report.
A fresh war of words has erupted involving Tesla chief Elon Musk. And this time, it's not with US President Trump, but the Indian government instead. Days after several news agencies' X handles were blocked in India, including Reuters, the Musk-owned social media platform X has hit out against the center, expressing deep concern about ongoing press censorship in India. X claims the Indian government ordered the social media platform to block 2,355 accounts in the country within an hour, without giving any justification, under Section 69A of the IT Act. Yet, after much public outcry, the government ultimately asked X to unblock Reuters handles, the Musk-owned social media platform claims. It further stated that given the restrictions by Indian law, X is pursuing legal options. The IT ministry has clearly denied any orders on withholding the Reuters handle, saying it was working with X to resolve the matter and had demanded that the handle be unblocked as soon as it was blocked. On July 5th, X blocked the handles of Reuters and Reuters World, with a message displayed on their accounts stating that they had been withheld in India in response to a legal demand. This is not the first time X has clashed with the government over the IT Act, which allows the centre to demand the takedown of content from social media platforms if deemed a threat to public order or national security. Last year, the Election Commission ordered certain political posts be withheld ahead of the polls, to which X expressed public outrage. In 2021, X was locked in a standoff with the centre over non-compliance with legal orders to block posts, which it later complied to. India is a crucial growth market for ex-Chief Musk, on the brink of launching other key ventures such as Starlink and Tesla in the country. All eyes are on Musk, and if this latest flashpoint will impact the launch of Starlink, which is in its final stages in India. Disha Bagchi for NDTV.
That's all from my side. Thank you for watching NDTV.